Welcome to the Tonya Hoffman's Fabulous TV Show. I am Tonya Hoffman, and of course, this is my fabulous TV show. And I always have incredibly fabulous guests like today's. Oh my gosh, y'all are going to be so excited because we're going to learn so much from Mark Lidford. Hey, Mark, how are you?
Hello, Tonya Hoffman. I'm really happy to be here today. Thank you.
Yay! So we're going to hear all about Mark and maybe even get some juicy stories from him and also kind of dive in. He's like an expert in LinkedIn. And I'm like, I need that, right? So we're going to have a lot of fun diving into a lot of things. I want to remind you, if you're looking to have Mark come in and speak at your next event, or myself, or you've got, something you want to be connected with us, the easiest way to find us is go to public speakers with an S, association, all spelled out.com. And under the speaker search tab, you just simply put in Mark or Tonya, and we pop up, and all of our contact information is right there. Also, we would love for you to be on our next incredible summit. My show, obviously, I want you on. So get in touch with us. So while you're on the website, check everything out and get involved. All righty. So Mark, so tell us about you and how fabulous you are, what you've got going on.
Okay, great. So, Tonya, I stepped out of the corporate world about 3 years ago. I was having a pretty high-powered career, and I wound up getting laid off. And in retrospect, it was a great thing because it really kind of forced me to look at myself and say, okay, what is my passion? What is my purpose? Because I felt like I'd been really missing that since I started working. And I worked for 25 years. I was on Wall Street in the US courts. I did international business development for 7 years. And I never felt like I was doing what I was meant to do here on this earth. So when I got laid off, I got a chance to really self-reflect, and I started working with a career coach, and it became abundantly clear to me that my purpose and my passion were to help other people find theirs. And so I embarked on that path, and I started to learn about coaching and figuring it all out. And I realized that I've been kind of coaching people my whole life. And now all of a sudden it was like, this is right. It resonated with me. And so I started becoming a career coach, and now that's what I do for a living. And so I find meaning in it, and I find my livelihood in it, and I get to help people, and it's just fantastic. My life is really, really clear right now. So I'm here to help other people find their purpose and passion and do their branding and how to find themselves.
That's awesome. And I know, when you start looking at, because I used to do a lot of speaking in front of job clubs and places like that. And it was so painful. It really was. I just had to stop because there would be one or two people that are like, okay, tell me what to do. And they would go do it. Other people were still like, I want my job back. I mean, do you find that also?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a great amount of what people feel is it's a false sense of security to job, which is really, and I emphasize the word false because there's two words that'll end that right away. Is you're fired. And so, if you're an entrepreneur and you get out on your own, there's no way that you're going to fire yourself. And once you learn how to make money for yourself, you'll never go without an income or that satisfaction and security of working for yourself.
Yeah, I love your last presentation that you did with the association, and you really talked about, how do you connect with people, especially using the internet? I mean, the internet is such a valuable tool, but people forget about it, right?
Right. And so, yeah, what I talked about last time was how to use LinkedIn and how to really brand yourself in a social media setting. And LinkedIn is, of course, one of many. You have Snapchat and Twitter and Facebook and all these other areas where you get to present yourself electronically, potentially to millions of people. And a lot of people overlook the power of this electronic medium. So what I help my clients to do is really to brand themselves and to come across and give these wow moments so that others can read this and say, oh, I want to connect with this person. I want to know them. And so last time I provided a strategy on LinkedIn and how to really brand yourself. And it starts with having a really good summary. How many times have you read a summary on LinkedIn? It's like, I did this and I increased that and I did that. And you're like, oh, yeah. You've seen it so many times. So one of the suggestions I have is create a little narrative about yourself, 2 or 3 paragraphs about who you really are. And you know what I do is I work with people, I give them examples of how this would look, but a story about yourself, and weave in it these words that you want to get across. So you can literally sit down and think about all the words that describe you. And then think about a little bit of a story about, you know, maybe how you grew up, a favorite sport you have, how you got into it, how you were successful, and then weave in the words that employers would find attractive about you and your message of what you want to get across. And it makes it much more engaging. So now LinkedIn, which has millions and millions of people on it, in a professional capacity, you could go out there and send a request out, and they read your summary, if nothing else, and they say, wow, this person's pretty interesting. I'm going to connect with them. And then once you have that connection, you can start messaging and talking to them. And that's a separate strategy to actually go out there and start speaking to people and networking, which is absolutely critical to any development, business development, job search, or anything else.
It's the same thing. I don't get to go networking like I used to. I used to be part of 52 different networking groups, can you imagine? And so yesterday, a gentleman asked me to go kind of substitute for him at a group that he goes to. And so I went, and it's the same old thing, right? It's the same thing that you're just talking about. How do you make yourself stand out? Because if you're standing, there was a very adorable lady, but she was just, you know, blah, 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 blah. It was just like this talking head. It was nothing about her. It was not anything about truly the value she brings to it. You know, it's all, well, you know, our company is financially secure, and you know, these that really, okay, you kind of assume that if someone's representing them, that they're going to be financially secure, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And you bring up another good point, Tonya, is these networking meetings. Another thing you can do from a career or business standpoint is create a networking brief. And it's really a one pager, and it gives a summary of your key accomplishments. It gives an idea of target companies you might be looking to talk to. It gives an idea of target types of people you want to meet, as well as a little history of yourself. And it's different than a resume in that it tells a person exactly who you are and what you're looking for. And this goes a long way in introducing yourselves, because people are like computers. You know, whatever you tell them, they're trying to put you in a box and figure out, you know, how I can help you or how you can help me. And when you give them specific examples of like who you are, your key strengths, the companies you work for, the companies you like to talk to, or the organizations you like to talk to, the types of people you like to talk to, like, oh, I can get that, right? And, you know, for example, I had a client the other day, and he wanted to talk to somebody at Twitter. And I was like, I totally overlooked that I have a really great contact at Twitter, and I should introduce this client to that person. But if he hadn't said that word, I wouldn't have made that connection. So a networking brief is like figuring out all the things that you really want to have and be and everything else, and giving that to the other person so they can make that connection in their own mind and help you out.
Oh, I love that. You know, and one of the things I found is very effective using social media in general, or even networking, is letting people know that you're there to help them. Yes. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. You know, and so many of us go in with our hat out, you know, looking for, you know, can you help me? Can you help me? And you're exactly right. When you come in with that service attitude and you're acknowledging and curious about a person, then they're going to open up. And when they open up, that's when you could bring in your elevator pitch, which is something else we can talk about in a minute. But it's really important to serve. You're right.
Yeah, yeah. It's so funny to me, because when people will reach out and, you know, or don't, right? So a lot of people never even reach out to talk to people. Yeah. And most people are hungry to talk about themselves. So if you allow them to talk about themselves, yeah, then they'll usually, and not always, okay, but usually they'll want to find out more about you.
You got it. You hit it right on the head, the nail right on the head. And the way, for example, at either a networking meeting, or if you want to reach out to somebody and say, I love your insights and opinions on, and, you know, then you give that person the gift of gab. They can talk about themselves and what they love and what they know. And once they're done talking, somewhere in that conversation, you want to say, I really appreciate your time. This has been great. I've learned so much. Is there anything I can do for you? And that's that point of service, right? And most people won't know you well enough to say, no, I really appreciate you saying that, though. Anything I can do for you? And then that's your entryway. They've just given you the power back to say, okay, and then you put your elevator pitch in, which is basically your brand, your accomplishment, your goals. It's just like 3 sentences long, 30 seconds. Tell them who you are, something really great about yourself, about how you've, you know, done something fantastic, a wow moment. And then your ask is like, what are you looking for? And that's exactly when the person will be able to reciprocate to you, because you've given that whole gift of gab, and now they're willing to do something for you.
Yeah, right. It's so funny when people look at the connections. They just look at, oh, I just got these people on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter. They're people, right? They've got connections. They've got great businesses. You really have a gold mine. Even if you have a small list, if you've got 50 people on Facebook or 50
Yeah.
people on LinkedIn, that's 50 opportunities. But most people don't ever look at it that way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And again, it's that online component of it is there's so many people out there who are not using LinkedIn effectively, who are not using how they're branding themselves out there to the world, and having that aligned and having that message really crisp and clear, so that a person can make that connection in their head. Oh, I know somebody who you should speak to, or something like that. And again, like you said, come from a place of service, and this is a great formula for actually getting yourself networked out there to where you want to be, and in the systems you want to be, and the people and the groups you want to be part of.
So when you look at, developing out your profile, because I know people probably ask you all the time, is there something that you see that most people don't do besides the whole, talk about yourself in a different way? Is there something that usually people just kind of miss out on that is like so brilliant?
Well, after the branding part of it, make sure obviously you have a great picture. So a lot of people have got their baseball caps on, and something weirdness in the background, and okay, right there, somebody's gonna be like, Yahoo, move on. And it's a professional picture, a nice smile, engaging smile. Such an easy thing to do. Most of us miss that, right? And then the nice summary, an engaging summary, a narrative about who you are with your key strengths, and then so somebody can see, oh, this person might fit my organization, or it might be somebody I want to invite to speak or whatever. And then, in the actual experience, a lot of people just like, either they rant, like, nah, 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 or they give too little. It's just like, I did this and that's it. So, what are your wow moments in life, and really have bullets under that. And then beyond that is really use like a LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter to reach out to people. Because most people say, I'm just going to put my stuff up there and somebody will find me. You have to take action. You have to take bold action. And what I mean by that is once you make that connection, don't just say, well, they're going to find me now. It's like, you reach out to them. And again, give them the gift of gab. Say, I'd love to have your insights and opinions. Or, I have a great contact for you. Or I have this article and I was just thinking this would be great for you. Gifts again, that service. And then, once that happens, you open another person up to helping you. And if you do this a little bit each week, you're going to create a network. It's kind of like creating a favor bank, and you keep depositing to the favor bank, depositing. And when you need a withdrawal, then it's going to be there. And then what I say is, like, when you need money, where are the banks, right? And when you don't need money, the banks are going, yeah, you want money? Here's a credit card. So deposit to that favor bank a lot. And I say a strong network is like a strong immune system. You will never go without business or a job or anything else if you have a strong network. And I'll give you an example. About 15 years ago, when the economy was really bad, it was a dot-com bust, and I was in Denver, and Denver went down hard, and I was working with a startup that went out. And I had a great network, and it was an international network, and my job was gone overnight. And so I just started to activate people around the world who I used to work with and know, and say, I made a lot of deposits to the favor bank. I was employed within 2 months in a job in Switzerland, just
yeah.
like 2 different offers, because of the people I knew. And it wasn't what I knew, it was actually who I knew, because they could walk my resume right into the hiring manager and get to the top of that pile and be considered.
Well, and that's what most people don't do anymore, is the little black book, right? That is all of people and that's what I see a lot in corporate salespeople, is that they're filling the sales force, and they're filling, all the stuff for the connections, but they're not really making valuable relationships that are long-term, right? So that their little black book of all their clients, they could go to anybody and say, hey, I already have these relationships. I'm employable, right?
Right. Exactly. And that's another thing you can do is actually do what we're doing now. I mean, Zoom, right? Or Skype. And, you can talk to anybody in the world and be almost like in the same room with them. Remember 10, 15 years ago, we used to have these teleconferences and everything else. It was a big deal to set them up. You could get somebody up like that. I mean, literally, how long did it take us to connect here today on Zoom? It was a couple minutes and boom, here we are talking. And so don't undervalue interaction, even if it's video. It's more personable. Obviously best is in person, second best is video, third best is phone, fourth best is email, and obviously worst is not doing anything. You hope that somebody finds.
Totally. And that's what usually people do, right? It's like, well, yeah, you're going out of business because you don't do anything. I said, there's all these options now.
Bold actions, it's just figure out, what you offer, what problem you solve, make sure that's branded correctly, and you're showing the strategies and solutions on how you're going to solve that, and paint the picture of the promised land of what you offer, and then build your brand around it.
Exactly. Love it. Love it. Now, I know you have something really fabulous to give our listeners today. So what is that?
Sure. Well, first of all, I just wanted to do a quick plug for my book. Thank God it's Wednesday. So, if you want to learn your purpose and passion and life-work balance, this is a great book to read. I wrote it last year. It became an Amazon bestseller. I'm not giving this away today because I'm going to give you something better. And get your pens ready because I'm going to give you my internet address, my website address where you could schedule something. I'm going to give you my time. I'm going to give a half hour to anybody who wants it to do some of this branding work, to figure out what they should be saying, or to write that narrative on LinkedIn, or to do their elevator pitch, or to think about, any other thing they want to do brochure wise. So if somebody wants to spend a half hour with me, they could go to www.c, that's the letter C, and then a hyphen, synergy.com. So it's c-synergy.com. It's SYNERGY. And on there, you'll see a little button that says schedule a strategy session. All you gotta do is complete a little questionnaire. It's like 5 questions. It's really easy. I'll get the notification, and you'll see a time thing, my calendar, and you'll be able to set time up on my calendar, and I'll work with you for 30 minutes on whatever you'd like to get your branding done, or your social media, to get you out there.
Awesome. All right. So take advantage of that. Oh my gosh, I'm going to sign up right now, and really reach out to Mark, because he knows some stuff, and obviously he probably knows some great people.
That's true. My network is tens of thousands of people, and yours should be too. If it's not, let's get it there.
Right? Exactly. All right, everybody. So remember, go to Public Speakers with an S Association, all spelled out.com, to find out all kinds of fabulous people. Under the Summits tab is where you'll find all of our past events with all the recordings for both the summits and our video series, our Fab How-To-a-thons. So take advantage of getting to know people and really absorbing this incredible information that each one of them has on all kinds of subjects. Whatever you're looking for, we've got someone that talks about it. So be here next time to hear another incredibly fabulous guest. So thank you, Mark. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Tonya. I really appreciate it.
Hope to have you back soon. And bye, everybody. See you next time. Bye.